Hi friends, welcome back for another cuppa with Chainlink, and unfortunately I've just run out of tea, so well, there you go. We'll just have to have a cuppa and then a Chainlink, I suppose. Right, so if you've got your tea, then I suppose I'm kind of jealous. Isn't that the way of it with tea? When as soon as you run out, then that's it. It seems like the end of the world. So here we are looking at Chainlink versus US dollar 24-hour chart on Coinbase. In fact, did I roll intros? Roll intros, 5 seconds, back of the charts. Okay, back in the charts, right? There we go. So we've got the intros in there. Link USD 24-hour Coinbase chart, and we've got a couple of Fibonacci's drawn in here. One from this all-time high on this down to the all-time lows, and another from the most recent swing low to high. And what we're really asking the question of here on this particular asset is whether or not we will see the prices respect this 236 Fibonacci. This is off of the Fibonacci retracement drawn in from the recentest swing low to the recentest swing high, and that's from starting in around about here, so the December, okay. And what we're looking at here is whether or not this will remain as an invalid Fibonacci, right? So what I mean by that is if the Fibonacci retracement here would become valid in terms of looking at taking down below here at different retracement levels for profit taking, and the normal targets that you have generally bear in mind are the 382 and the 618 as two distinct ones, two big areas to aim for in terms of where you would be looking to take profits. And of course in between there you've got the 50% as well. So that's what you're looking at if this were to become a valid Fibonacci retracement, right? And at the minute it's not really, and the reason I say it's not really instead of it's just not is because we're actually below this retracement line currently, but I'd be looking for us to open and close below there as opposed to just simply going down there even just closing. But if we look down to the lower time frames and we get a sort of better picture of what I mean by that, and you can see that despite the fact that we're currently down there at the minute, if I'd done this video at any point over the last however many days here on this chart, there'd only have been a couple of moments where it's like it is now, and that actually then went on to make to close down there. In fact, only one where it's actually closed down there, and then this one here where it came back up immediately then thereafter. So that's what we're looking at the minute in terms of Chainlink and the price here against the dollar on Coinbase. So I've been saying over the last wee while that a good entry in terms of, I'm not a financial advisor by the way, none of this financial advice, but I've been saying that a good entry, of course, in this sort of thing would be around about the $4 mark. And of course that's where the prices are right now. So this is where it comes into a good example where you can show off like how you would really sort of think about managing your risk on something like this. Now if you were to be, for instance, now again, this is not financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor, this is just how I would be doing things, my own personal take on things. And but I would be looking here at this sort of price here and thinking, right, okay, so are we getting in here on this, and where would we be then wrong in our trade, where would we be wrong in that? And you can look over here and you can see that there's that this is a sort of consolidation type pattern that we have here, and that the tops are around here. But of course, you could draw a triangle quite easily down here between all these peaks here in the bottom here. And if you had a triangle on there of some sort, then you can sort of make a measured move off the back of that, and you can say that the that around about this distance here would be your measured move. So that's about $1 there. Just making this really brief because I'm not actually wanting to really run through it in excruciating detail. And then if you broke below this area here, then you could be looking for $1 move down the way, for instance. And then you would also be looking at the Fibonacci retracement here for those targets and trying to come up with ideas about where you'd be taking your profit at. And of course, that's 70 pence down here. Takes 70 cents, sorry, I should say. Takes you to the big term Fibonacci retracement from the all-time lows to the all-time highs, the 618 there, and then the 382 of this other intermediate time frame one comes down here to $3.60, and of course that's $3.70. Did I say $3? Okay, whatever. So that's 30 cents down, and that's 40 cents down. And then of course you'd be looking down here to where the 200 simple is at the $3.40 area, and trying to find some sort of supporting around there for that, if that were to happen. Now I don't actually think that's what would happen, but you'd be able to manage your risk then based off of certain levels where if you thought the price was going down past there, then you'd be able to get out of your trade at that area and think, well, okay, you did okay on that. You took the move and it didn't work out. When the prices are down as low as this here, here and you can see the recent price action, then I could even be more strict on my managing of my risk and just stop out anything in the low 390s and just say, well, okay, so that's a small drawdown on that, but that was worth it for the potential of the risk to reward. And of course then you've got this is a 4-hour candle, so if the one was closing in around this area and lower than all of this before, then it's not looking great. But then on the same token, it's not looking like the end of the world necessarily at that point either. Just like if a candle on the 4 hours open up in this area as we've had in the recent past, that doesn't mean that everything's looking totally amazing. It actually just means that you're getting in around that real profit taking zone there as we have been in the past. So that's of course where I'd be looking to. And then on the upside there you've got $4.30. That's nearly 10% and that's 7%. I mean that's how greedy do you want to be on terms of moves like that. And then of course then further on up you've got different greed targets for yourself, whatever they may happen to be. And in between times you've got the at 420 you've got the 21 moving average in there. So I'll be looking for some sort of potential for dynamics around that price action, then for us to come up and hopefully get supported above that in terms of that particular trade if I were doing it, which I'm not as it happens. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at for Chainlink at the current times. Of course, I have said there, I've been very clear about it, that if they were to break down here, you could potentially see a bigger move coming in. So you'd hold on to your pants in that case. I suppose you could go over to Bitcoin and just see what the relative difference in price. Well, it's less triangular here on Bitcoin, but then again, the Bitcoin price is dynamic versus the dollar price dynamic. It gives you a different sort of take on things. But of course, we're right down here at the bottom. Maybe this is more of a, as opposed to the sort of the symmetrical triangle or the equilateral triangle that we had before. It's more of one of these guys, in which case you'd be looking for profit taking targets in and about that 43,000, and that probably translates pretty well over to the $44.30 to be perfectly fair anyway. So that's kind of where you're looking and managing your risk here. I mean, if it does drop down here and closes and opens here, then why not just even set in? It could even set in a higher low all the way down as far as this here at $3.85. So you'd watch out for that. All the best. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'm going to do a Tezos video now, and I've done an Ethereum or Bitcoin one earlier on today. So like and subscribe, share it with your mates and all that sort of stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate it. See you next time, which is tomorrow.